Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello, lovely Rose-Davidson. How are you?
I am splendiferous.
Oh, holy crap. I like that. Splendiferous. Say it again.
Splendiferous.
Good Lord, I like that. That's awesome. So, guys, I hope you can all join us today. Today, I am doing another one of my favorite things that I love to do, and that is my members spotlight. So, I love to chat to our 5 Foot Rope members and learn a little bit more about them as well as their business, because it's not always about business. Sometimes it's about us too. And I'm lucky enough to be joined with the amazing Rose-Davidson. Now, Rose, I'm a bit nervous today because you're an absolute expert at interviewing people. In fact, the name of your business is your podcast is Talking with the Experts, isn't it?
It is, yes. And I really was challenged in the beginning to come up with a name, but after some thought, I thought, well, I am actually talking with experts in business. So I thought,
Yeah.
what a great name. And funnily enough, there are quite a lot of podcasts called Talking with the Experts, but they've got
Oh,
little. Yeah, so I put vodcast at the end of mine to differentiate myself from everybody else because it is a video podcast. So a podcast is just audio,
yep.
and a vodcast is, for those who don't know, a vodcast is a video podcast. So it's like a video blog or vlog, same
Yep.
thing. So vodcast and vlog are the same thing.
Isn't it amazing that we have all these tools that we can now integrate into our business and, and reach so many people? Now, we've got quite a few people who've jumped on and joined us, which is amazing. But I think this is the beautiful Claire, and she's commented as 5 Foot Rope. Oh, yes, there she goes. Now it's me. Hello, beautiful Claire Williams. How are you, darling? Thank you for joining us. So, Rose, as you know, as I said to you before, I do these things by the seat of my pants. So
Yes, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to share.
I know. No, you said you were going to do that, which is awesome. Yeah, so we're definitely live, which is great. But yeah, no, Claire, me neither. I've been really looking forward to chatting with Rose about this because, as I think I said in one of the descriptions on one of the posts I did today, is Rose is very much like me in that she loves techie stuff. If ever I think, oh, how do I do this? I think I'll ask Rose. She'll know. And you're a bit like me in the fact that you love to just get in and give it a go.
Yes.
With whatever technology that's, whether it's a new technology or whether it's something that you've just recently discovered. I know that, you like to just get in and try it out and give it a go and see how it works, don't you?
Yeah, I like to be a first adopter.
Yeah.
Anything that's new, I will go and Google it,
Yep.
sign up for it, give it a try. I usually use the free trial. If I don't like it, it's some of the things I've tried they look really good in the advertising, but when you
Yep.
try and use it, it's not very user friendly. And
Mm.
I will not use an app that is not user friendly because then I can't recommend it to my non-techie friends.
Yep.
If I can't use it and it becomes too much, I won't recommend it to anybody. So I've found quite a few. I've actually found one of those copywriting apps. One I was using and I liked it, but then I was watching another video from somebody that is very well known. I can't think of his name at the moment. And he recommended something else. And I like this new one so much better. It has better tools and the price of it is comparable to the other one. So I've signed up for the free version. I've already just tried it out. I will be purchasing it and going for it because I think it's wonderful.
Isn't it great when you find something that that sits really well with you? Like I know, I'm just trying to think of an example. Like I love Canva, right? I love Canva.
Oh,
and
yeah.
yet other people will say, no, Adobe. I'm Adobe all the way. Or they'll find, someone mentioned one to me the other day. I can't even remember what the name of it was, but but I thought you've got to, if you find something that does what you need it to do and you really love it, you sort of, Claire's, oh, hang on, I clicked the wrong one. Claire's just said, I found Susie. That's
Well, I
awesome.
found Susie too, so we're the same. Clear, there you go.
So, but it's so great when you find something that it ticks all your boxes, it does what you want it to do, it fits into your budget if it's a paid thing, and and it's sometimes really, really a hard sell when someone says, well, yeah, but I've found this new one and I want to use, and you're like, I'll just stick to mine.
Neil Patel is the person. Now, I really highly recommend anyone subscribe to his newsletter.
Yeah.
Neil Patel is in America. He is a marketing guru.
I'm writing that down. Is it Neil or Neal?
Yes. Neil and Patel. No, Neil Patel. I highly recommend him. He gives out so much free information, and he will actually, if you email him, he will actually answer your emails. And
wow.
He has like a multi-million-dollar business, but he takes the time to answer. If you've got a comment, you make a comment on his Facebook page, he will take the time to answer you. He believes in helping business owners and giving, and most of his apps that he recommends are free, or they have a free trial, or they're very low cost.
That's half the thing, isn't it? When technology moves so quickly, and if you were trying to update everything all the time, it will cost you an absolute fortune. So when you find someone like that who tries to give, I always try and find, the cheapest way of doing something or the cheapest version of doing something when I share it, especially with people in 5 Foot Rope, because, we're all running our own businesses. We're all, and a lot of times our budgets aren't massive. And so, to be able to find something where a free or low cost version is really good until you, move it.
He's amazing. Absolutely. I've had quite a few of my emails answered because I just find him absolutely amazing. And I did ask him once why he gives out things for free. Like even his own, like Uber Suggest is like keyword search, but his is free. Yeah. And there is a paid version. However, he just believes in giving back. He said he was challenged, in his early days, and he just believes that by giving back, it, betters his karma. So, yeah.
I think it's great. Man. And especially when you are, I know a lot of people who are in my 5 Foot Rope network are, starting out, or they're a micro to small business, So as I said, they can't just go, well, you know what, I'm going to pay a couple of $100 for this and then a couple of $100 for that and whatever else. So if I can find something that works really well but is free or low cost, I'm all for that. Absolutely. I love it. Yeah. So all right. So, and I know you and I can talk about tech for. When I find stuff, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And then, down the rabbit hole I tend to go. And 3 days later, I'll pop up going,
shiny objects. I love shiny objects. They're so cool. I'm supposed to be like making a video for someone and I do something else. And I think, the shiny object. Yay.
And see that I'm like that with Canva. If I start doing one thing on Canva and then I'll do something over here and then I'll think, that'd be a really good thing for a video. So I'll jump onto like Wondershare Filmora and I'll start editing stuff on there. And then I'll go, I really need that. So I'll jump back onto Canva. And like I said, 3 days later, I've achieved nothing, but I've had a wonderful time.
I think it's amazing. I mean, it's your videos. I've got a lifetime license.
Yes. Did you get yours through AppSumo?
No, I got mine a long time ago. Actually, they were just starting out. I think they were giving lifetime licenses out. So I've got a lifetime license, and they cost me like $98, but they don't offer them much anymore. So yeah.
No, I got mine. I pay like I think it's $80-something a year, which I still think is a steal for what it does. $80 a year, and I got that through AppSumo. So. But anyway, there you go. So, all right.
Yeah, I don't use AppSumo as much as I should, and I should go in there more often because they've got some great stuff.
Well, Be Live, which is the platform that I'm using right now, I do all my lives and interviews and everything on Be Live. I love it. You got the little ticker thing down the bottom, and you can label it up, and you can do all that. And it's normally, I think, $35 a month US.
I know it's expensive.
And I actually picked this up through AppSumo for $59 US lifetime, and I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah,
Good on you.
and they come up every now and again with AppSumo. And guys, if you're watching, AppSumo is a website, and what they do is they offer really, really good deals. A lot of time, lifetime deals on different softwares and different platforms. And you've got to be quick, because I know the one for Be Live comes up every now and again, and they have so many licenses that they're able to sell to people, and they go super quick. But it's a fantastic. It's just app APP. Sumo, SUMO. I think it's just appsumo.com.
It is, yeah. I've signed up for heaps of apps, and I've stored them somewhere, and I don't know where I've put them.
Every now and again I go, hang on, I've got the software for that, and I'm like, I'll go find it.
Yeah.
So
terrible.
Anyway, as I said, well, you and I can talk about tech till the cows come home, like you said. But I want to know more about you. So, Rose, now we'll start from the very beginning. And where were you born?
I was born in Canada. I am 63, or coming up to 63. I will be 63 at the end of the year. I came to Australia when I was...
You were born in the year 63, or you're going to be 63 years old?
I'll be 63 this year.
Are you serious?
Totally.
I thought you were younger than me. I'm 53 this year. And I thought you were like 50, 51.
No, I'm 63 in December.
Wow, my girl, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I thought you were sort of, as I said, 50, 51. Yeah, Claire's just gone.
No way. Yeah, way. I was born in 1959, and I came to Australia when I was 12.
Yeah.
And so I've lived here. I haven't been back since. Just life hasn't allowed me that opportunity. And so, yeah, I grew up pretty tough. I left home when I was 14 because of being abused by my father.
Wow.
Enough was enough. So I left home, and I pretty much grew up by myself. Been married twice. I've got 3 great kids, and happily married now, and living life on my terms.
Awesome.
Rather than someone else's.
Exactly, and that's the best way to do it. And you're based in Tasmania.
I am, and I'm just outside of Hobart. I actually live in the suburb where the prison is.
Just in case you play up, you're not far from,
No, I wouldn't go there. I don't think so. It'd be very nice. The women's prison isn't there, though. I think the women's prison is somewhere else. But
So because I've only been to Tassie once, and absolutely loved it. And what's Jenny saying? Jenny's saying, what a lot of people looking younger, I have found the same name. I have found the same. Oh, what a lot of people looking younger, I have found the same. Yeah. I went to Tassie once. We were going on holidays, and I actually want to go to New Zealand. I want to go skiing in New Zealand, but my partner said, "Oh no, I'd really like to go to Tassie." And I said, "All right, well, we'll do that," because he never ever said I really
in Tassie.
And pardon?
You can ski in Tassie.
Well, the time of year that we were there, it wasn't. It was sort of the very beginning of winter. But, oh, my God, we were there for 2 weeks. We basically drove around Tassie, and we went to so many places because we had some friends live down there, and they took us to Bluff Point, and they took us to Bruny Island, and they took us to a heap of places we would normally not have gotten to go to because there were shacks there that we were able to stay at. And then we went up Cradle Mountain, but we went everywhere. I could have stayed there forever, to be honest.
It's beautiful.
I loved it. Yeah,
there's a really good chocolate factory on the way back from Devonport. So when you get off the boat, if you come by boat, you go to I don't think where it's called now, but it's beautiful chocolate. And then there's I think it's at Pine Garner. There's Ashgrove cheese.
Oh, nice.
You can buy Ashgrove cheese at supermarkets, but go to the factory, and they've got like the stuff that they don't use. It just comes in huge bags, and you can just like 5 kilo bags. You just take that home. Oh yeah.
There was so much to do in Tassie. That was the thing that because as I said, we just drove, and we had no clue where we were going. We just basically get up that day and go, we're going to go left or right. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And you can go around in a couple of days, but you wouldn't be able to see everything. But honestly, it's so gorgeous. And like you go to Bruny, you've got all that beautiful seafood and cheese and chocolate.
Mm,
And it's just an amazing place. And
it
got the
is.
pub in the paddock up north. So it's actually a pub in a paddock. It's like there's nothing around for miles. It's just a pub in a paddock. And the
Wow.
meals there are so yummy.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah. No, I did. I absolutely loved it. Hey, Roz, how are you
Hey,
doing? Thank
Rose,
you for
how you
joining.
going?
G'day from the Southland, she said. And have you always, I mean, obviously, as you said, leaving home at 14 and what you had been through in that environment would have been beyond traumatic. Where did you find the strength at 14 years old to just get out there and go, you know what? I'm gone. I'm going to take care of myself.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm always a bit stubborn, and I think that me leaving home was like a forced thing because I wasn't allowed to talk to boys, and I had an older man who was my boyfriend at the time, and we were out having a milkshake, and my father was started doing blockies because we lived in the Blue Mountains, and so the place was quite small. He was doing blockies trying to find me. So I decided, well, I wasn't going home because I knew that I'd get a bashing and I'd be black and blue the next day. So I just decided that there was just no way I was going home. I sent my brother home and he got the bashing instead.
No.
But yeah, so I didn't go home after that. And then, so my parents reported me as a runaway, and I stayed on at large for 3 days, and then the police caught up with me, and that's where the journey through the court system started, and everything after that. So I have sort of ventured home with my mum from time to time, but it was never very successful because she knew what was going on in my life and didn't do anything to prevent it. So yeah, it was, it took me a long time to reconcile myself with that. But I've been on this spiritual journey for the last couple of years, and I've just left all that shit behind because it's no good dwelling on it, and just trying to better myself through looking forwards and being happy within myself and finding who I am inside. It's taken a very long till I was about 60 to find out who I am and where I want to be and where my place is in the world. So it's taken a long time.
And I think when I look at what you've achieved, and we'll talk about that in a little while, what you've achieved, I think that you've definitely found your place. You've definitely found your spot in the universe. And when you see it, what you've achieved and how you've grown over those last, couple of years that I've known you has been amazing. And Claire, it is an absolute incredible story because it's, as you've said before, Rose, it's a lot of times people don't talk about this stuff and they do shove it under the carpet. And and I think, well, that was what they used to do. You never spoke about things like that, and whereas I think it's good that people are speaking up, because there needs to be an awareness. There needs to be a safe place for these kids to go, and not have the the local John Hopper grab them by the back of the scruff of the neck and say, well, I'm taking you back to your mum and dad, because that's the worst place that they can send you. And Roz has just said, I've certainly seen Rose's growth. It's been amazing. And so I think it's so good that there's so many more avenues for kids who are suffering from any type of abuse.
There's still not enough, though, unfortunately.
It's still not enough.
No. I mean, you look at the people like Grace Tame, who for years was gagged. She wasn't allowed to mention her own name. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous law that you can't name yourself as being a survivor of abuse. I mean, so well done to her. But, I would like to go into schools and talk to kids from, about grade 5, because they're old enough more to understand up until, matriculation years, because, a lot of kids keep it to themselves still, and they have this guilt and they carry it around like I did for years and years. I knew it wasn't my fault, but I still had this guilt and dirtiness and filth and the dirtiness, because you just well, it's a horrible thing to go through it, and and kids, even adults need to know that they're not alone. I actually do have a Facebook page called Survivors. It's started off as for people who have suffered sexual abuse, but I broadened it out to all kinds of abuse. So domestic violence, because I'm a great advocate of preventing domestic violence of all types, men and women. So I'm really into those advocacy things. So we've got the Healing Through. I'm the president of Healing Through Love, which has gone into a bit of a hiatus for some time, for a little while, because I just can't find the support, which is unfortunate. But people just don't want to get out and help us along, and we're not that well known. So it's for businesses to help us. It's not helping their bottom line. So
unfortunately. But I think the great thing is that by people speaking up. Anyone, not even like okay, you got Grace Tame and things like that, but anyone speaking up is helping it get better, helping the whole situation get better, helping the support services get better, helping the different channels and avenues get better, helping people know, whether they're kids or adults, know that they're not alone. There is someone they can speak to. There is someone that understands. Then it's not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong. It's not because, they wore a certain bit of clothing or they said a certain thing or they did a certain thing. It's absolutely nothing to do with anything that they've ever done. And I think the more people that speak up about these sorts of issues, the more support is being put in place. And I think we're a lot further on than we were 10 years ago and a lot further than 20 years ago. We've still got a long way to go.
Aren't doing enough, though. The government is still, doesn't matter at what level, state, federal or local governments still are not doing enough. They're not providing enough support services or places for people to go, shelters and whatnot. I mean, in Queensland, was it in Queensland? No, on the Gold Coast. No, on the Gold Coast. I took Queensland. In Adelaide, there were heaps of empty schools. They could be turned into homeless shelters.
Of course.
But they're just sitting there vacant, going to rot. And, why aren't governments buying these properties or redeveloping these properties into homeless shelters? It's absolutely, and I'm going to say appalling, because it is appalling. It's just a waste of a resource that could be used for the betterment of society. And don't get me started on it, because I get on my boat and I just... It makes me so angry that governments just aren't providing for people that are homeless. Homeless people, mothers with children, are living in cars. They're living in tents. It's outrageous. Absolutely. I know in Hobart there are at least 500 women that are living on the streets every single night. And there's nowhere for them to go. You're allowed, there's shelters where you can fit 6 people. Well, 500 people don't fit into 6, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Roz has just said, I agree with that strategy to house the homeless by thinking out of the box, convert the empty schools, convert the empty anything that we have that we can help people.
Motels empty around this country that could be converted into homeless shelters or women's shelters or men's shelters for people that are suffering from domestic violence.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, and I agree. There's so many things that could be done, and unfortunately, there's a lot of things that aren't being done. But I think the more people speak out, the more people speak out and make it not a taboo subject. Oh no, don't mention that. Don't talk about that. Let's not. Let's just change the subject. I think if they get out, they talk about it, people have, realized that, number one, they're not alone. And number two, it's a lot more widespread than people think.
Absolutely.
Whether it's domestic violence, whether it's homelessness, whether it's addiction, whatever it is, and there are a lot of people out there who are willing to give their time and help. I know you hear stories all the time of, young blokes who are barbers, and on their Saturday and Sunday, they'll get on. I know I read a story about a guy in Sydney who gets on his pushy on the weekend, and he goes around and he will clip the hair, clip the guys' beards and things like that. He got to the point where someone had given him like a donation where he could actually set up, like, it looked like a little coffee van, but it was a mobile where he could wash their hair and things like that.
Hairdressing,
Yeah, they've got caravans that go
There's
around where
a
they can have
beautiful
a
lady in
shower.
Adelaide, Melanie Tate. Hey, Mel, you're watching. She feeds the homeless people. She's got puddle jumpers in Adelaide, and
Awesome.
she's been nominated for awards and never ever gets one, and which is so unfortunate. But she sets up mobile food vans. Wednesday and Thursday nights, I think, and people just drive by and pick up a box of food, and just because they can't afford it anywhere else. And honestly, it is amazing. Puddle Jumpers is an amazing organisation.
I know in Redcliffe, where I'm from, they have a. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is, and it's down at the hall in front of the RSL in Redcliffe, and I know that they feed the homeless down there. I think they have it a couple of times a week, or I'm not too sure. But they and a mate of mine, actually, Craig Miley. Hi, darling, if you're watching. Craig Miley, he's a musician, and they do a lot of concerts, rocking for the homeless. And they raise money, and I know he helps out with when they're putting the food out and things like that. And it just, it helps them out. We all go through bad times. And what do they say? I'm not a religious person by any means, but they say, but for the grace of God go I. That could be you if the poo hits the mistral in your life, and, you've only got to lose your job or lose whatever, and you could lose your home, and then you've got no income. So what do you do? And, so it's not that far away for a lot of people to be homeless. So to be able to help and to be able to be aware and to be able to put things in place for them is a fantastic way, and it's a great way to move forward. But anyway,
we'll get off that.
but thank you for sharing that, because I think it is an important subject to talk about and to make people aware of. So that's awesome. Thank you. But okay, so when you got into, say 18, 19, and that sort of age, did you go and get a job? Have you spent most of your working life working for yourself? Or were you, went and got a job and had a couple of different jobs? Or how did your working life go?
Okay, so when I got in Australia, I had my first job when I was about 12. I worked in a fish and chip shop. When I was younger, I had big boobs.
Boobies? We can say boobies.
Huge they were. So I looked a lot older. When I was young, I looked older than I was. Now I'm old, I look younger.
You look younger.
Anyway, so I worked in this fish and chip shop. I hated it.
Oh.
But anyway, so and then I worked I've worked in hospitality off and on until I moved to Tassie, and for about the third time. And then I worked, my first job, I guess, as an adult was working for a cleaning company. I was their receptionist.
Yep.
So that started my journey into admin work. And I did admin work for about 35 years. And in the meantime, doing that, I was a customs officer for 13 of those years. And then I took a package, and mental health issues came up, and I was on the downward spiral for a long time. And then we bought a fish and chip shop on the Gold Coast and operated that for 10 years. And then in the meantime, though, because I hated the shop, I hated anything to do with hospitality, but my husband decided we had to buy a job, so we did. And so, but I worked for other companies. I worked for training organisations, and mainly when I was on the Gold Coast. So I worked at the shop and had a full-time position and had 3 kids to raise and a house to run, and went to school 3 times to get education. Yeah, so I did. So I did lots. So mental health. I just got too overwhelmed and went down and tried to commit suicide and all sorts of things. And anyway, so then after we moved from the Gold Coast, we moved eventually to Adelaide, and there I decided that I didn't want to be a temp worker because I couldn't get really full-time work. It was mainly temp work. And I wasn't a very good temporary employee because I could always see ways that businesses could change. So if they had a process that was this long, I could see it, and squeeze it down, but it wasn't appreciated. So I didn't temp very often. And when I did, it was always stressful. So I decided I was going to work for myself. So I just started this business. It was called Does Biz. So Does stood for Document and Office Efficiency Services. And I was offering my services to female entrepreneurs who didn't want to do all their admin services. But I didn't do my research very well and found out that females mainly didn't like to give up the reins of their office work because they think that they can do it bigger and better than anyone else. And they just like to be in control. So I muddled about with that for a long time. And then I found video. So I bought a subscription to Wave.video, and I found out that I could make videos, and I really, really loved the process. And so I was selling those for a while, and I still sell them as promo videos for businesses and speakers and the like. And then, I don't know, the pandemic hit in 2020, and in July, I could see a lot of businesses just going down the hill, and especially if they were a bricks and mortar business. And a lot of them didn't sort of think outside the box and realise that, that a lot of their services that they were providing in their bricks and mortar business, they could actually transfer to online. So I thought, let's start a podcast. Now, I don't listen to podcasts as a rule, and I don't know where I come up with the idea, but it was an epiphany I had, and I thought, let's start a podcast. So how do you start a podcast? So I Googled, Mr. Google knows everything, and I thought,
everything.
What a load of shit that is on there. Honestly, there was just so much information out there. I was just overwhelmed. I thought, I'll just do it. I'll just do it the Rosie way, like I do everything else. Just do it Rosie's way and it will work. So in 2 weeks, without any promotion whatsoever, Talking with Your Experts was launched.
That is so awesome.
People coming to be interviewed, coming left, right and centre. There has been not 1 week that I have not had guests, unless I have put the podcast on hold because you do get burnt out. I do 3 interviews every day, 4, sometimes 5 days a week, but mainly 4 days a week. So that's a lot of interviews. But when I started, I was doing up to 15 interviews a week.
Wow.
15. And so then I have to edit them. I'd have to promote them. I'd have to upload them. And it just became, I thought, no, I'll just offer them, just a couple of days a week because honestly, it was just doing my head in. But so it's really popular.
So that's been going since 2020.
July 2020,
And Claire's just gone, wow, I know. When Rose said to me how many interviews she was doing every day, I was like, what are you? Oh, I think I think I was like, holy crap, frick a duck or something. I can't even remember what I said.
Like that, yes.
What the hell are you thinking? Because
I edit my own videos. So I produce my own videos, basically, and my own audio. So there, I've changed the format a little bit because I took a break for a couple of months because I had hip surgery and I wanted just to have some downtime. And then my son was getting married, so I wanted to take some time off for that as well. So, so I took a couple of months, March and April, I took off, and March I took off, and so I'm back now. I'm booked out till June already.
That's awesome.
People just want to come on all the time, and it's
funny, it's interviewing. Like I love it because I love a good chat, as you know, but it's very draining. It can be very draining because not all of your guests, it flows. Like you and I have a chat and it's just like we're sitting having a chat, and so it flows. But sometimes I'm
pulling teeth. It's so hard, and
And
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Questions going, and then you, and then what happened? And so it can be very, very draining. So what do you do? Like, so if you're doing 3 a day, 4 days a week, that's 12, that's a dozen interviews a week. How do you recharge from that? When you do have sort of,
burnout,
a couple of them that are just not talking to you in the interview. How do you recharge? What do you do?
Hurry it up. I actually hurry the interview up. If they're not engaging with me, and because I don't have any set questions now, I know a lot of podcasts charge their guests to be on, and sometimes it's like $800, and I refuse to do that. I think it's my payment is either selling a product that I have or getting promotion from the guests, so I won't charge. Question was, how do I get engaged? How do I stay engaged?
Well, how do you recharge when you've done that many interviews?
It's difficult. I think that's why I get burnout. I just keep going and going and going, and then after about 6 months, I think I've had enough. I need a break, so I take about a month off, and it gives me enough time to catch up and recharge and catch up with all my other work that I need to do, because each podcast episode takes me about 2.5 hours to do, to edit and everything. So it's quite a long, you got 12 hours of a week or more that you're just producing 24 hours. So it's a whole day basically. Producing the podcast. Then it's like each podcast goes for about 30 minutes. So you say 45 minutes times 12. Well, there's another 24 hours. That's 2 days out of your week. So that takes up my whole weekend basically. If you want to look at that day. And then I still have clients that I need to service. So it's a big ask, and you do get burnt out.
It's a good thing when you love what you do. Like I know, I love what I do in 5 Foot Rope. I absolutely love, everyone who's in my 5 Foot Rope family, and I'm very lucky to be surrounded, by incredible people. But it is, I think if you were doing what you do and you didn't have a passion for it, I think you would burn out so quickly.
Yeah, you do.
Because it would be very emotional. But I think you love what you do, so that obviously helps with the whole process.
And I sometimes have to give up. My husband says, "You're not interviewing again. You're not on that bloody computer again." Yes, I am. He said, "Are you making any money?" I said, "No, not yet, but I will."
What's the point, darling?
The guests that I have that don't really gel, I do try to hurry the interview up. But get out of them what I can get out of them. But because I don't have set questions, it's just very organic. And there's only really one question at the end is, have you got any words of wisdom, or do you have something to share? That's the only set question I have. Otherwise, it's totally organic, like a coffee chat. And I love that type of format, because I think it's a lot better than sending each guest pre-formatted questions, which become really boring. It's a boring concept.
And that's exactly what I said to you when we started is, I do tend to do the fly by the seat of my pants type interview, because I like just chatting. Ros was just saying before, like, I'll read Claire's comment first, because she says, like me, I have so much trouble talking. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I laugh out loud for that? I love you, Claire. You're beautiful. And then Ros said, at least I'm only chatting with cards, which is, yes, that's right. It's a lot easier to read those cards, Ros, than it is.
Sometimes people can, you get them on a bad day, because most of my guests come from the US. So the time difference really is quite a challenge.
Yeah.
And, people have asked me, will I do interviews outside of my set hours that I've got in my calendar? But I know, because I'm not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to interview. If you want to be interviewed, that's your choice. But no, don't ask me, because I was running interviews from 11 until midnight every single day. So my podcast was open 11 till midnight. And, by the time you get to about 9 o'clock at night, you think, I have another interview at 11 o'clock tonight, and you've got to keep your face on and you've got to be happy and smiley. And by 11 o'clock, you're totally drained after doing like 4 interviews. And you think, no,
and the
I had
interview is going like this. And so, Rose, how was that when you started your business? Was it good? Oh, that's great. That sounds wonderful. I'm really pleased for you. That would be me at like 11 o'clock at night.
No,
so, and Ross just said, yeah, it's fun. That's what matters. That's
how are you, dear?
And there's our lovely Adair Palmer. So it was actually Adair that, how I said to you before that I found AppSumo to do with Be Live. It was Adair that put me onto it. So it's all your fault.
She's the one who introduced you and I did that. Adair came up and did that. Her and Fiona came up to do that thing, and that's how you and I got introduced.
Yes. So see, it's all your fault, Adair.
Yes.
So yeah, and it's, but that's why I love doing these member spotlights, is because I do like it to be just a chat. I don't want to have a set thing of questions. Like I've got where I'm going to start and what we talk about. But if it goes off on a tangent, then that's fine too, and whoever's meant to hear whatever we're chatting about or whatever we're sharing will be there and will join us live, or like, everyone who's jumped on today. And what is she saying? Cross-pollination with the Mexicans. That's right, because I always used to say to her, she's from Mexico.
Yes, anyone south of the border. Yeah, I was a Queenslander for a time, and everything that was past Tweed was from a Mexican.
Because my uncle lived in Melbourne for years, and we always used to say to him, so how is it down there in Mexico? So, yeah. And because now the beautiful Ali Sugars is down in, Adelaide in Mexico. So she reckons that she's in Mexico and I'm in Canada, which is really cool. So, but I'm like you. I like it to just be, to flow, be organic, chat about what we chat about. And I think if you've got those set questions, sometimes it reels you in a little bit. And I learned that years ago. I used to love watching Michael Parkinson interview people, Parky, right? And I always used to watch Parky, and he's very laid back, typical Yorkshireman, very laid back, and, and he would let the interview evolve instead of trying to reel the person in. And I remember watching him interview Billy Connolly. And they'd known each other for many years. And you can't reel Billy Connolly in. Like I've seen him try, and you just can't do it. And he just let him go and let him do what Billy Connolly does. And he did the same with Robin Williams.
Yes.
And you got to let those guys run, and you've got to just let it go. And you could see that he just rolled with it. And that's what made him an incredible interviewer. Whereas I think if it was in a different environment with a different person interviewing them, and they had their set questions, and we have to cover all these questions, I think it would have been I don't think it would have been as
engaging and as funny as it was.
It wouldn't have been as incredible. I mean, to see Robin Williams in full flight is an amazing thing. And, and so to watch them, and then, one of the funniest interviews I ever watched him do was actually the same night he had Billy Connolly on, was David Attenborough. And I thought, how the hell is he going to follow? Like, I love David Attenborough. I think he's an incredibly interesting man. But how the hell do you follow Billy Connolly? Right? He was so funny. He had Billy Connolly fell off his chair. So if you want to, I'm sure it's probably on YouTube. If you guys want to, Google it on YouTube, that doesn't make sense. Look for it on YouTube. And Billy Connolly was in absolute fits with the stories that David Attenborough was telling. And Michael Parkinson just sat back and let it happen. And I thought, how good is this guy? So, they're whoops, I can't see the rest of that. They are unique. I think that's supposed to say
people.
Oh, people, I couldn't see underneath. Sorry. They were brilliant interviews, Claire. And so, so I love doing that. But I'm not doing 12 a week, though, Rose. I'm doing a few here and there. I do, I do my, I was telling you before, I've started my my Highly Live for 25 podcast and show that I do with James McNamara. And we do 25 minutes of, fast-paced sort of answering questions. And we have a YouTube channel, and we have 3 subscribers, and 2 of those are James and I.
Get there, pick that button.
Right? Yeah. If you go and look for highly engaged entrepreneurs on YouTube and get us over our 3 subscribers.
Yeah, so I told you, after this, I'm going to go and you'll get 2 new ones. So
that'll be 5. Yay! We'll be taking over YouTube before we know it. But so I'm only doing those few, and when you're doing a live, it's just you, so you can sort of take it in whatever direction. But I think interviewing,
I hate doing lives. You can't. I can interview till the cows come home,
but not
and I cannot do anything on my own. I have these training videos I need to do, and do you think I keep putting it off? I keep resisting but I've got this little face up here now. I took one of Charlene's hints and put a little smiley face above my camera, so I might use that, and then I'm talking to the smiley face, and I'm not talking to the little black box.
It's so funny. It's funny. I love doing lives because I'm never short of it. I'm never short of a word. And so Rose said, "What's the name of my YouTube channel?" Is Highly Engaged Entrepreneurs. Rose, what's the name of your YouTube channel?
One of mine is called Rose-Davidson, and the other one is called Talking with the Experts podcast.
So go and look for us, people. We're very excited. As I said, I think we've got we've done 3 Highly Live for 25 episodes, but I think there's only 2 of them on there, so there's not a lot to watch yet. But we are building it, so we've only just started. So yeah, but it's I actually love doing lives because I always sort of feel like I'm chatting to people, and people jump on and chat to me and make comments and things like that. So I actually love doing lives. But I can understand what you're saying. And I know a lot of people find it, they find it a bit unnerving doing a live. When they're chatting to someone, there's sort of, safety in numbers. But when there's just them, I think a lot of times people are worried that they're not going to remember what to say, or they're going to run out of something to say, or, no one's watching me. It's, whereas I think, if you can get into doing the lives, get into just getting yourself out there, just doing it, you'll get better and better and better at it, as I'm sure.
On Survivors TV, I actually did 2 episodes on my own, and each episode was an hour, and I managed to babble on for an hour. But yeah, that was the only 2 times I've been able to do it without becoming ums and ahs and what am I going to talk about next, and oh God, I forgot to say that. And so I'd rather talk to people.
I am and are all the time, and I don't worry about it. And because they reckon that you're not supposed to with your hands, because I'm always like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And, they reckon that you shouldn't do that. And I thought, God, if I had to sit on my hands and I had to sit here going, so thank you for joining me on 5 Foot Rope. It's really lovely to have you here. I'm having such a good time right now. I don't really know what to say. And I'd just lose it. I'd be like,
you're talking with the experts. My name's Rose-Davidson from rosedavidson.com. I'm your host for today.
See, I'd just be, I've got it. That's right. Yeah, exactly right. You've got to do what feels comfortable. That's exactly right. Claire says, Rose, what was the name of your other website?
Rose-Davidson and Talking with the Experts podcast.
Awesome. So, it's all right. I'm clicking buttons left, right, and centre here. As
Rose, what was the name of your other website? Oh, thanks, Claire, for asking. Fiona, yes, she was a very much of a hand.
Yeah, no, I was. As I said, I even when I'm talking normally, I'm very expressive. Everything.
Yes, I am. I try not to put it in front of my face. I try and do this.
But I sort of think to myself, well, you know what? That's me, and
I don't like it tough.
Yeah, if people are either going to watch it and go, "Oh my God, that girl is just doing my head in," or people are going to watch it and it's not going to bother them, and they're going to be, well, at least she's not sitting there going, "Hello, thank you for joining us today on the 5 Foot Rope."
Oh, yuck! No, yuck.
That'd just do my head in. So, and it's like when Claire does her lives, she's got the grandkids jump in and the cat jumps in, and, and that's what people love. That's what they connect with, because you're being real. You're not too practiced. You're not too cardboard cutout type deal. Yep. You're just you, and the right people will connect with you. And I love that. Absolutely. So with your podcasts, like the amount of podcasts that you do, I know that you've spoken to me before about the amount of listeners and followers that you have, and the numbers are amazing. And guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking, podcast, is it worth it? Should I do it? I'm not too sure whatever. Listen to these numbers.
I have fallen in the rankings. I'm sitting at about 17,000th out of 2.5 million podcasts at the moment.
Wow. That's awesome. And I mean, people go 17,000, but 2 point something million, like put that into perspective, you're right up in the top shelf. Yeah. So and how many because you can have the numbers of how many times that your podcast has been listened to
20,000 at the moment. 20,000. And I've done 262 interviews.
Wow, that's amazing. And so is that so? Because I'm obviously just learning about podcasts. So when you do a podcast, so it's like having your own radio show, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Okay, so where do you put it? So if I'm doing my live, I know that I'm putting it on 5 Foot Rope page, or in the Business Academy, or if I'm doing one for, with James, we'll put it on our Highly Engaged Entrepreneurs page, group, whatever. I know where it's landing, or YouTube. Where does your podcast go to?
Oh my God, it's huge. my podcast host is SoundCloud.
Is SoundCloud, right?
I use SoundCloud as my channel host.
Yep.
I've applied to Google and iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio. So you need to apply to those particular channels and be accepted before anything happens.
Okay.
And every time I get accepted by one of the big channels, iHeartRadio, I have a freak out. I have a meltdown.
So do you have to apply do you have to apply with every podcast you do, or is it just...
No, let me finish. Yeah. So those, and Podbean's another one. You need to apply to those. Once you've applied to those people and you upload your RSS feed from your original hosts, which is SoundCloud, an RSS feed is where your podcast is stored, I guess. It's like a special URL.
Yeah.
Then it's in Deezer, it's in Stitcher, it's in ones I've never even heard of. I think it's about 25 different channels my podcast is now available on.
Wow.
Just because I've applied to the major ones, and then the affiliates that are, the other channels that are affiliated with those, like Spotify and whatever, they just get picked up by these other channels. And yeah, I think at last count was 25.
Wow. So Roz has just said the RRS feed to the destinations where you hear the podcast. So yeah, so there's a lot more to it than just, jumping on and going live to your Facebook page, or
yes.
YouTube channel.
So when I upload mine to, after I've edited them, I upload it to SoundCloud, to Anchor, and to Podbean, and to YouTube. And from those first three podcast channels, it gets picked up by iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher. I'm just applied to Acast, which is a huge American channel, and that they distribute to other channels as well, the ones that I've never even heard of. When I counted, there's 25 different channels that I'm on.
So when you do your podcast, it doesn't, so even say, iHeartRadio comes back to you and says, yes, you've been approved to have your podcast on iHeartRadio or Spotify, whatever it is. So you've got to upload that. So when you're actually doing the podcast, so if you and I are talking now, because we're live on Facebook right now as of, nearly 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon in Queensland,
so I would download this video, then I would strip the audio and the video, upload the audio to SoundCloud, and from SoundCloud, because all the other channels have my RSS feed, then it will just get distributed around the world on different channels.
So there's no such thing as a live podcast?
You can do a live podcast. You can do a live podcast on different channels. I choose not to do them live, like organically live, because then I can't add the other things in it that I want. It's too much for me. Even though I do online event management, it's because I'm not on camera. To be on camera and push the buttons and upload to this channel, and to me it's just too much work. So I'd rather just put up a recording. It is a lot of work to be to do live stuff. I have thought about going live onto YouTube, but I think then I still can't add my intro, my outro, put my ad in there and do all that stuff, and still try to be engaged with my guest. So I'd rather do it afterwards.
As Adair says, if you're still on with Adair says, octopus arms, you've got to have 8 different
I don't like it. It's like, I was trying to share it up to here, and and because I have to look away, and so that I'm not engaging with my guest, and I think it's rude. It's like someone scrolling on their phone while they're at the dinner table. Yes.
So it's guys, if you're still with me, can you let me know if I'm still live? Because no,
it doesn't look to be.
It's just said that Facebook has stopped the live.
No, it's still going here.
Are you?
I've got it going live here on the 5 Foot Rope page. It's still live.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll keep chatting because we've got another couple of minutes. So I don't really know why that's happened, but okie dokie. So hopefully you guys are still with us. Let us know. Roz has just said it's not on the 5 Foot Rope
on the page.
I got kicked off.
I'm just making faces, so we'll just see if it comes up.
So we'll just keep chatting, and hopefully, I'm not really sure what's happened, but it's.
I just made faces. It's coming up there. So it says live. It's flashing at me. So
the wonders of modern technology, I tell you, it's all over the shop. But anyway, so the great thing is, you've learned, through, as I said, you're a bit like I am, that you learn to just jump in and try things and work it out as you go, so that you know exactly what you're doing. And you're now taking that step that you're actually helping other people get their podcast up and running, and showing them the things that it's taken you a couple of years to learn to get to the point where you've gone. You're now helping others do that as well, aren't you?
Yes, I have at the moment formulating a 30-day program, which will be launched in June.
Now, yep,
that will help anyone who is not tech savvy to get their podcast up and going step by step. So it takes them from actually applying to a channel, coming up with the name, coming up with your graphics, how to do an intro and outro and a mid roll ad, how to upload it to all the channels, how to apply to the channels, how to be a good host, how to be a great guest, because it's very important that if you're hosting a podcast that you are able to be a great guest on someone else's podcast, or a presentation like this, because there are certain rules that you need to abide by, and just ways of doing things to be a great guest. So that you're giving not only your host great engagement, but you're giving the audience engagement as well. And it takes you through mistakes not to make, and it's a really comprehensive 30-day program.
Now I've just been trying to copy that link, and for some reason it's not letting me copy it from where you sent it through to me before.
Okay, well, I'll just put it in the chat. Hang on.
Can you pop that in the chat, please? Because it's not letting me copy and paste it for some reason.
All right, just move my keyboard.
The technological gods aren't being nice. But we're still, according to my numbers here, we've still got quite a few people
Oh
watching
no,
us.
I can't put anything in. Oh, yes, I can put it in the chat here on the page.
So I'm hoping that you guys can still see us, but Rose is going to put that link to that 30-day course. So if it's something,
it's only the course isn't up and going yet, but I will put a link to my freebie, which is
Podcast
Wizard: 10 common podcasting mistakes and how to fix them.
And I've actually downloaded this. I actually I saw it on one of your lives on 5 Foot Rope TV, and I think you put it in the comments or something. And Roz is going, I've got no bloody idea where I was before. Can't find it again now. And Claire said, yes, we can see you. Awesome. Okay. So, so you'd put that link on, I can't remember, one of your lives. And I went and I thought, oh, cool, because James and I have been talking about doing our show, and I have absolutely no clue about podcasts. I think I've listened to like 2 or 3 in my life. And I click through them. You know how you forward through. I've got no patience. But I went and I downloaded that your free ebook, and it's awesome. So, guys, if you're watching this and you're even considering doing a podcast or wanting to know a little bit more about podcasting and the mistakes not to make, then absolutely jump on and download that ebook, because it's a fantastic resource. And then that way Rose can also keep you updated if you're interested when she gets her course up and running. If you're interested in that, then Rose can certainly let you know how to be a part of that, because I think if you're looking to do something like this, or even if you have already started your own podcast but you're still thinking, oh God, am I doing the right thing? I don't know how it works. Then I think that something like that would be a fantastic resource to be able to get into such an intense course, and such an extensive course to go through so much. I think would be absolutely priceless. So,
well, I do know the price. I can say the price is $997. The course value is well over $17,000, and that's awesome. I will be offering it for $997.
Awesome. That's a fantastic price. So Rosa's just said, maybe I need to start one for over 60s. Absolutely. Why not? Why not?
Actually, I had a lady ring me. I had an interview with someone yesterday who was interested in starting a podcast, and she's going to start one for women over 50. And I thought, what a great niche that is. She will do really, really well. But the statistics for people starting podcasts is that they don't usually get past their 5th episode, because they find it so overwhelming to have a podcast. Because if you're trying to edit your things and you're not tech savvy, you don't know what you're doing and all that, it is really overwhelming, and sometimes they don't have the right format or something. So the course will help with that as well. And if I could just give myself a bit of a plug, I do offer a service, an all-in-one package, where I take you from go to woe, and on a monthly basis, and get your podcast and do the production for you, and the socials and the uploading to your channels and whatever it is you do. So I do offer that service, and I also just offer podcast editing. So I can either I can either edit your videos or your audio for you, and so that it's ready for you to upload to the channel. So there's a lot of avenues. You can reach me and find those services on Rose-Davidson.com, and look under my work with me, and look under the marketplace, and you'll find those services in there.
No, that's awesome. So, I know that you do an incredible job for not only your own podcast, but other people's. And, and I think, especially if you're starting out, a lot of times it's good to have that sort of support. And even if, down the track they go, okay, right, I've got a better handle on it now. I think to have someone help you through those early stages, I think would be invaluable if you want to make
handholding is really important. People just think, you can just get in front of your camera and off you go. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that needs to be done before you can even launch your podcast. And launching is, don't do what I did, and don't launch it like huge, because otherwise it takes too long to get out there, get known. You've got to have a big song and dance to launch the thing first, like you do with a course or whatever. Pre advertising is always a good idea.
Don't
start backwards like that.
It's oh, look, there's the lovely Ali Sugars. She said, oh
Hello,
my
my
God,
beautiful
one of
girl.
my absolute favorite people, Rose. We've been talking about you, Ali. We were talking about you earlier. So she said, definitely have to watch the replay. Yes. So yes, your ears would have been burning, my darling. We were talking about you. So, but no, look, I love it. The great thing is, a couple of years ago when I first started 5 Foot Rope TV, you jumped on board with that, and I was so grateful that you did that. And we're now relaunching that this year, and you've jumped back on board. And the great thing is people can go there and, watch all of the incredible interviews that you do and get an idea of what you do. And then they can go and check out your YouTube channel and check out your Rose-Davidson Facebook page, as well as your website, and go back and watch all the previous interviews, because I've watched a couple of them, and they're fantastic chats with the people that you have on, and they've got some incredible stories, and it makes you want to go, I wonder who else she's been talking to, and they can go back.
I've had a couple of famous people on, so yeah, I've had a couple of actors, and I've had some 500 CFOs on there. So yeah.
Wow. You haven't had me on. So you haven't had all the
Yes, I have. No, you haven't applied, Miss Manley.
Well, see,
I've sent you an invitation lots of times, and you still haven't.
I know, because I'm always the one sort of going, well, I'm interviewing people. I let them, you go and talk about your business, and I forget to tell people about mine. I think James is trying to get me into doing, guest speaking at different networking events. And because my first question was, hang on, well, how can I speak at a networking event when my business is networking? That's probably not really.
That's exactly what you should be doing.
That's a bit of bull, but I've got a lot of other things that that I'm going to speak about, and so I've had a couple of people get in touch and go, come and speak at our event. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. I never know what I'm going to talk about. I'll work it out as I go along. So what's Ali said, I would highly recommend being interviewed by Rose. She is amazing. Yes, she is. And what is Claire says, yes, interview Susie. I would love to hear it.
It'll probably go for like 2 hours. You won't be able to shut the limit up.
It'd be like, yeah, Susie, we have to go now. You have to stop talking. We got to go now. It'd be like, oh, okay, fine.
It'd be great. So I'm very happy to send you the form again, Susie, if you wish to.
I will do it, because I'm getting a lot more organized this year, and I've not been organized the last few years. And but I mean, mind you, I've loved doing our virtual networking.
I have to go. I've got an appointment very, very soon, so I need to leave.
Yes, and we've hit our 2 o'clock. So all right, my lovely. Look, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Please make sure you click on that link and download Rose's free ebook that is all about the mistakes and things not to do if you're starting your podcast. And make sure you go and check out Rose's website and her Facebook page, because there are some incredible interviews on there. We're talking to the experts. So all right, my lovely, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Susie. It's been a pleasure. I could talk to you for hours. I just realized what the time was, so I have to go.
That's all right. All right, thank you. Have a lovely afternoon. She'll talk to you soon. And thank you, everyone who's joined us. We'll talk to you all
everyone
soon. Take care. Bye.